there's a question, I lost where this one came from a while ago, but somebody asked a question about Georgia tight end Brock Bowers and essentially said, A, how good is he? And B, how much is the Kyle Pitts experience going to affect his draft status, stock, the narrative around him, like how high you can draft Brock Bowers, because Kyle Pitts was supposed to be this new wave, right? This athletic specimen we'd never seen before, a guy that could play tight end or true X receiver and, you know, a complete matchup weapon. And then he goes to Atlanta and the dude's just like can't be used to the degree everybody wants him to be.
I think it will affect it a little bit because certainly with him going number 4 overall, and Kyle Pitts has been good, but clearly like within Atlanta's offense, it's not like he's this game breaker every single week. I think that Bowers, like Pitts, is going to be a top 5 prospect for a lot of people. But the rest of the class is really good. And I know that was kind of the same thing with Pitts, but there's so many other good wide receivers. There's so many other good offensive tackles. There's good quarterbacks to take in the top 10. And I just feel as though a more realistic range for Bowers is more like 8 to 12 than it is in the top 5. And I think that that's still really impressive for a tight end. Now, Bowers is really interesting because Bowers is pretty small, like compared to most NFL tight ends. If he's 6'4", I think that's like 10th percentile for tight ends. And if he's 240 pounds, which is what Georgia has him listed at, that's 8th percentile for tight ends. So he's in the 10th and the 8th percentile for the position. Now, he's obviously a different kind of cat because he's more of a receiver. So you could stack those numbers up against receiver, and obviously it looks a lot better. It's a lot bigger. And I think that's where a lot of value in his game comes from. But he is also where I didn't think that Kyle Pitts was a terrible like liability blocker. Bowers is an impact blocker. Like, this is a dude who you can legitimately put on the line of scrimmage. Now, I think a lot of his work is going to come as a slot receiver. He's going to be a big slot, a power slot, however you want to say it, more often than not. He'll be like an H-back off the line of scrimmage type of thing in 2 tight end sets. But he is somebody who, when you put him in 12 personnel, he could be a good blocker for you. He's strong. He's dense. He's able to help out the run game a lot in that regard. So I think that the NFL is going to be a little scared of drafting tight ends super high just because of Kyle Pitts, and it hasn't exactly panned out the way that people thought it was going to. But I still think this good dude's going to be a top 12 prospect. He's just too good. He's been the best tight end in college football the last 3 seasons, not even close. Like, he has elite overall grades as a pass catcher and really good grades as a blocker in 3 straight seasons: true freshman year, true sophomore year, true junior year. And that's just, I mean, that's just, we talk about how sample sizes are so important when we're judging prospects and translating how they can be pros. Bowers has more than you could ever imagine, and it's just elite grades across the board. So that would be my assessment of where I think Bowers is going to go.
Yeah, I don't think fundamentally everybody got it wrong with Kyle Pitts. Like, I think he is being uniquely restricted by the specific offense that he's in, which is this Arthur Smith Falcons offense that seems to go out of its way to trick defenses rather than just give the ball to their best playmakers, right? I think if Kyle Pitts was in a random different NFL offense that was just more conventional in terms of personnel usage and deployment and how they spread the ball around, I think he would look way better, and nobody would be questioning the number 4 overall pick, right? Whether he was as a tight end or if he'd been moved to X wide receiver and was some team's number 1 wide receiver, I think that would fly at this level as well. So I don't think it should overly affect the Brock Bowers thing.